everybody. Thank you for joining us for another episode of our video podcast. This is a special feature we are bringing to you this year, our 30th year, to show you behind the scenes of the work we do. It is a series of conversations with people who make this organization special. This week's meaningful conversation with one of my most favorite people is with a donor, a friend, and our newest U.S. team member, Scott Burden. Scott and his wife Julie have been partnering with us since around 2011 and took their first trip with us in 2013. After only 2 months on our team, Scott has had some great revelations that I really want to share with you. Since joining our team, he has learned so much about the intentionality we take to make sure that each of our community partners and each one of you are not just a number. You are a person, you matter, relationships matter. I won't spoil all the fun, so let's just hop right in and hear directly from the man himself. Here's Scott. Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good? So you've been with us what now, 2 months?
Yeah, about middle of December. Yeah, about 2 months.
I know when you were processing the graduate exit interviews, you had a few thoughts or a couple of them that jumped out at you. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. I would say there were a few common themes in the letters. Almost all of them, all of the high school students talked about the joy that they got from helping the younger students in the collectivos, anybody younger than them, helping them study or learn their coursework, work on their English, just play games with them. There was one that caught my attention. He said he never dreamed that someone clear on the other side of the world would care about him or continue to support him. Julie and us, as you said, we've sponsored a lot of students, and it is very easy to set that process up financially, and so that it just happens. I don't write you a check every month; the bank does, because I set all that up, and it just happens, and it makes it really easy to kind of out of sight, out of mind, which really struck me as I was reading all of those and reading what the students are saying about how much they appreciate their sponsors, and this doesn't happen without them, and their career goals. While it was a chaotic place to start, it was a very immersive place to start and see things on this side that you don't realize are going on and don't get to see from the donor side sometimes.
You have even said you weren't good about writing your students when you all sponsored students. And so there comes that level of guilt that people feel, that they feel like they're not having an impact. The education is still available for the students because they are writing those checks, because they are supporting Rainbow Network. The end goal is still being met. It's just how did you settle on that whole debate or that whole feeling of guilt?
We would sit at the table, and if we got student letters, we would read the translated version, um, while we're sitting around the table. But sometimes dinner is just so chaotic that we're not all sitting there at the same time anyway. Um, for me, um, I started talking and asking you about community sponsorship, wondering if there's a way to be able to reach and help a community as a whole and not just a single student. And it's not that a single student is not important. Um, I just wondered if we could make an impact in an entire community. And so that was kind of where my head went. It weighed heavily on me that, again, we were supporting students, as you said, the money's getting through, the students are going to school, and that is priority number one, plain and simple. But there's so many more things you can do as a sponsor, um, and we weren't following it through, and that weighed heavily on me.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I love about Rainbow Network and there's something for everybody, whether it is student sponsorship, whether it is community partnership, whether it is, any of these other ventures that we have, but there's something for everybody to connect to. There's a way and there is no wrong way to support Rainbow Network? I'm going to ask you the same question that I've been asking everybody on these chats. It's really kind of a two-part question, or either where you've seen God at work, or what has been the greatest way that God has blessed you through Rainbow Network.
So I've told you this story. On the very first trip we were on, we had a young high school kid um, with us and him and I, for no other reason than we just grabbed the same tools, ended up working together. And we were, you probably remember the community. I don't remember the name of it, but I know we were on the side of a mountain working on houses. And it was just windy enough that even though it was hot, it was still relatively pleasant. But we were digging holes for the pillars for the house. And there was a gentleman there that just showed up the first day and grabbed the same tool and was helping us. And we ended up just working with him all week. And the last day, we were getting ready to leave, and I was making my way around, just shaking hands with all the guys we've been working with and whatever. And I, I stuck my hand out to shake this guy's hand, and he looked at me, and I would swear that even though I could see his face, it was almost like a movie thing where there's a face within a face, and I swear I looked right in God's eyes, and it was like he could tell that something was a little weird by my expression and whatever. And it just kind of worked on me all day long. And then that night, Julie had been with the medical team and she came back. Julie just said, "Hey, how was your day?" And I said, "All good except." And right there, Seth was like, "Did you see God in that guy's eyes?" And I looked at him like, "Holy cow, you saw it too. I'm not crazy." And so we talked about that for like an hour, and he had what sounds like the exact same experience I did. I know from conversations back then, your goal was always to make communities not dependent upon Rainbow Network. Like there needed to be an end goal. We're going to come in, we're going to help you. Here's how we're going to help you. Here's all the things we can bring to the table to help you. But here's when we're leaving, because we want you to be at self-sustainable by then. But at that point, it was really kind of a conversation and a process. You hadn't had communities graduating yet. And now you have several. And so, I mean, that is, in my mind, the work of God and bringing donors together and the communities and the people. I mean, that is a full-on team effort, from the dollars that come in from donors to the people in Nicaragua that are finding the property, and the people building the houses, and the education that happens in those 10 years, and the community development, the doctor. It is a full court press of teamwork. Mm-hmm. To take a community that was not a Rainbow Network community, it becomes one, and 10 years later you can say success.
Yeah.
And move on. And I would hope that they are as proud of that achievement as we are of being able to say you've done it.
Yeah. As you can see, Scott has wrestled with many of the same things many of you have. He's gotten in the groove of sending money and not thinking about who he is helping or where those dollars are going. He's felt guilty for not writing letters to his students or signing up for Zoom calls. He's also seen the impact and lives that are being changed because of each one of you. If you are wrestling with these same thoughts or you want to talk through it, we're here. We want to talk to you. If you want to sign up to sponsor a student for the first time or re-engage with the scholarship program, we would love to have you. Students are waiting for you, not just for your money, but they genuinely want to know you. It has been an honor to introduce you to Scott and to be able to have him on our team. He is one of the great people who make this organization special. We hope you are enjoying these conversations as much as we are. Until next time.